What is going on, everyone? It's Semi-Original Guy, aka Mr. Cannon from Advanced Wars by Web, bringing you another match of mine that I played recently. Today we are bringing you a match from the Shadows Chase You Endlessly tournament that happened on Advanced Wars by Web recently. Very fun tournament. Every single map was a variation of Shadows Chase You Endlessly, and Shadows Chase You Endlessly is probably, like, you know, in my top 5 pick of favorite maps of all time. So it was super cool, and all the maps look really interesting too. They use like different terrain sprites for everything. I'll put a picture up there so you can take a look and check it out for yourself. This is actually not what the map looked like in general. It didn't just look like the standard old Advanced Wars map. It was much different, much more Days of Ruin style look to it. So it was pretty cool. Now, I wasn't originally actually going to cast this match at all, but my opponent here, TrickySticks, he sent me a message mid-match, and he was like, hey, you know, you should make a video of this if it ends up being a banger. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, well, I mean, if you want it, I'll probably make a video out of it, even if it's not a banger. But it ended up being pretty cool either way. So we're going to go ahead and get into it and kind of just see what happens. As you can see, this is a variation of standard Shadows Chase You Endlessly. Mixed base, protected HQs in the middle. Yeah, very interesting map, very cool map. Lots and lots of roads, lots of cities, and it was also a tag match. So you can see here, my opponent TrickySticks, he ended up picking Von Bolt and Andy as his 2 picks. I picked Hawk and Andy as my 2 picks. Now, my original thought with Hawk and Andy was I just wanted to have like lots and lots of healing and do some global damage. But unfortunately, TrickySticks here, he picked Von Bolt and Andy, which actually I think is probably a much better CO combination. Mostly, especially because of the amount of terrain and Von Bolt's defense. But we're going to get into it. We're going to see kind of like what happens here. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so, you know, day 1, obviously we have standard infantry builds. Day 2, more standard infantry builds. Day 3, more standard infantry builds. That's about it, folks. Now, so far we have capped a property here. We capped, it looks like we capped the airport. It looks like I'm sort of moving in over here to try to do some things. And I built a tank over here out of this side. Now, I think my main thought was I was going to try to use this space and this space here to kind of rush over here. So I think that's why I built the tank right there. But we're going to see what actually ends up happening with that tank here. And it does not look like Tricky doesn't build any tanks this turn by the looks of it. Okay, so that's fine. So what do I do? And yeah, okay. So not really too bad. So I moved the tank up, obviously. I'm going to try to cap the comm tower because combat is going to be starting like right away. And I built a transport copter for some reason. I think my thought with this transport copter was I wanted to attempt to get things up here in the center, like super quick, funnel a couple infantry there, and hopefully meet my 2 armies, right? I think that was my plan with it, so we'll see what happens with it. Alright, so Tricky manages to cap a bunch of properties, boosting his overall income to 14 per day. So it's very good. Builds the tank in response to my tank too, which is very good. This is kind of what you really want to be doing in this sort of situation. You want a tank running amok over all your all your dudes, right? So building the counter to that, very good. I got no problem with that at all. Builds the tank up here as well, so he's going to start putting pressure over here. Now, let's see if I can actually manage to bridge the gap here. Alright, so I do use the transport copter to funnel a unit up. Very good. Alright, so I managed to cap up to 14 as well, so that's not too bad. So I go and steal this property here. Don't want him getting too far ahead of himself, you know? So, not too bad. Let's see what else we can pull off in this match here. Looks like TrickySticks is going to be capping some more properties here, getting way ahead in the value, so that's very nice. Alright, not too bad. So, It takes a very defensive position. Since I don't have a second tank to back it up, there's not really too much I can do there. Maybe, instead of building the tank here, maybe I should have built a tank here to just sort of assist with that. But I think because I went the transport copter route, I don't think that was possible at that point. Looks like he's built a battlecopter up north too, which is going to be pretty devastating. It gives lots and lots of coverage over here. Battlecopters or air units in general, probably going to be pretty tough on this map. So yeah, that's going to be a thing for sure. Alright, so I build a battlecopter of my own down here. And I built a mech over here. I get the idea of why I'm building the mech. Because it would protect these guys, but it leaves this one open and I have no counter here. Probably a much better idea. Instead of building the battlecopter, probably should have built a tank out of here. And then build an anti-air next turn to ward off the battlecopter. That probably would have been a better move. But you know, we did what we did, right? So let's see what is going to happen here. It's been a while since I've seen this game, right? And I feel like this is probably going to take that free shot, because that is 100% a free shot. It doesn't take the free shot. Okay, not too bad. So it looks like he is just pushing mid. Goes and takes a shot on my tank right here too, because this tank's not in position to actually ward it off yet. I don't have the Von Volt defense here either, which kind of is unfortunate. So he did go ahead and take that shot. Builds an infantry out of this property here. And we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So potentially could move this guy up and we could start harassing over here. But this interrupt over here is kind of not very good. For me. It's good for him, not for me. Because that puts me way behind in funds. I'm only going to be able to capture 2 properties this turn, which puts me up to like 18. If I'm correct. I think. Basic math. 18. Is that right? Alright, there's the anti-air. So, very good. If we can manage to put this anti-air up here, we would be able to block off the airport for a little while. It would only last for a little while, though, because pretty much as soon as he builds a tank out of this property here, that would kind of deny me right there. And I go in for an attack over here to injure a bunch of infantry. And we don't actually manage to get any kills, unfortunately. But we do attack. And it's fairly safe at the moment, but we're going to see what Tricky does here, because Tricky is a tricky guy. And tricky guys like to be very tricky, as we know, right? So we'll see what kind of stuff he can do. He's going to take out my tank, the weak one. So that is a fair shot for sure. Builds an artillery last turn, moving that into position right now. And sort of just moves about the map here, getting a lot of map presence for sure. Builds the tank, so that's good. So... Alright, so this right here, we could attack here, but we got a blocker right here. We got coverage with the other unit here, so maybe the correct response here would be to attack tank to this guy right here, or battlecopter to tank. I think that would probably be it, yeah. Alright, so we go in for that, so that's not too bad. Now, just sadly with Von Bolt's defense, it's really tricky to win these like sort of injured engagements here, because like a 4 HP versus a 3 HP, it's only going to be able to do in the realm of like around 20% damage, so it's not going to be able to finish anything off. And even if we're dealing with a 5 HP guy, it's still going to be kind of risky, because we're still only going to be doing like in the realm of 20 damage as well, right? So very difficult at that point. Not sure why we're doing that. Okay, so I attack here by the looks of it here, because I don't want to get hit by the anti-air, which I believe would definitely come down here. But the thing is that move could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Okay, yeah. Even if I built a tank, it would still be out of range, unfortunately. Alright, Alright, so I built a recon. Build the mid-game recon. That's what it's all about, folks. I'm trying to decide whether I want to go for this property up here, too. It's not really good because it's just going to be throwing away an infantry. So I believe the recon is actually to assist in denying for those two. And hopefully also having to bring a tank over. I think that's the thought pattern here with that one. Alright, let's see what Tricky does, because he is still quite a bit ahead. 23 to 20 right now. But, I mean, 20k isn't too bad. You can make some stuff happen with 20k, but if it gets a little bit higher than that, you know, we're pushing into dangerous territory for sure. Alright, the anti-air is incredibly scary right now. Battlecopter is not in a good position. What are we gonna do here? Alright, so I go for a double on the one dude here. I feel like maybe I should have denied both of them. So if I denied both of them, at least he wouldn't get any income this turn. He'd still get income like a few turns later. So I think that's okay. So we're gonna bring our anti-air like super close to threaten these guys by the looks of it here. So considering that we actually brought this forward to threaten, I think probably what we should do, or my thought would be, looking back on this, is I should probably actually attack one of these battlecopters, because then if he did go up with the other battlecopter and attack, I should be able to secure the kill, you know? So I think that's could be what we could possibly do for sure. Nah, it's a silly move, Mr. Cannon. What are we doing? What are we doing? Could have brought that up way, way closer. No, actually, no, we couldn't because this guy's here. What are we doing, Mr. Cannon? Oh, well, that's okay. So, yeah, it looks like we do take that shot. Okay, so that's, I think that's probably best case scenario, to be honest. Build a tank and go in and take out the infantry. Cool. Use the black bolt for a little surprise heal as well. But we can see his artillery unit is definitely putting in some work right now. Alright, so he has definitely moved like all around the map here. He's got some presence up here. Definitely a lot of presence up north, but he doesn't really have... Well, I mean, he's got lots down here too. I don't really have a lot of presence down here either. Most of my guys are kind of trapped in the south right now. Yeah, and the only issue now is this guy. He can't reach because he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's definitely just short of being able to reach. Can't quite make the cut. Alright, so what are we gonna do? Ooh, so we're gonna pop an early black wave and try to get some damage going here. Well, I'm not opposed to the early use of black wave for sure. I have used it before and it ended up working for me, but I think in this case, I don't know, because there's not really much I can do to capitalize on it. More than anything, it's just going to drain his funds, but he's ahead in funds right now, so the only thing that's really going to happen is it would make it even. But maybe that's the reason I do it, because I can get to 2 hit with those 2 guys, which wouldn't have been possible unless I popped it. So I think probably fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, looks like we're trying to go for a cap right here. We guard ourselves from the tank. Or at least guard our tank from that tank. But he'd still be able to interrupt. And I don't believe I would be able to 2-strike the tank. I'd only be able to 1-strike it, which would not be the best, but it would force his tank to come over here instead of going down the middle, where most of the combat is actually happening right now. But I got the looming threat of danger right now with Ex Machina. And it is coming in quick. Yeah, we're already behind by 26 to 22 at the moment. All right, and I didn't utilize the defense bonus too because I decided to swap right after using the co-power so that Andy's co-power would be able to fill up super quick right afterwards. So it looks like that is what we are going to be doing here, but now I need to figure out how we can sort of navigate this situation. Because like this guy is no, that wouldn't be able to get that unfortunately. All right, we might be able to flip a property. We do get a nice hit on a mech there, which isn't too bad. We have to just like leave this property though. There's no chance of getting that because now he's got a battlecopter and a tank coming up, which is kind of unfortunate because it means I'm gonna definitely need another anti-air up there. It's a rough call, rough call. What's the range on this tank right now? Yep. But hyper upgrade is like just around the corner too. Which is another thing that you really have to watch out for in these tag matches, because like people can switch the COs like super quick. So I mean, even though he's got Ex Machina pretty much almost ready, he could swap, go Andy next turn and like heal up all these units and then use Ex Machina like afterwards, which could be a fairly devastating move actually. Considering the amount of injured units he has, he could just bundle them up and keep them safe for like one turn. It would not be very difficult to get, what is that, like 16,000 battle damage? Not very difficult to get, especially on a map like this. Alright, so he's pumped himself up to 26, probably going to be getting 27,000 turn here, so not very good. And I lose my mech, unfortunately. We lost that one too. Yeah, and he builds the medium tank too in response to my classy medium tank, because myself and TrickySticks are both classy individuals, classy gentlemen, and only classy gentlemen build medium tanks. It's true. That's why you got to get your medium tanks on the field. Got to get them. Even if everybody says that they're not good, you get the medium tanks on the field, folks. Alright, so one saving grace right now is that I have hyper upgrade ready, but it would be not a very good move to pop hyper upgrade before the Ex Machina hits, because you definitely need that healing. And I'm already down by like quite a few units, like 9 units at the moment. So unless I actually manage to get like a bunch of kills here, then it's not really going to be good. But I do actually manage to utilize the black bow to get the last 2 points here, getting the capture, bringing it to 25 to 24. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Still not, definitely still in the handicap position here for the match though. We could potentially actually take a shot at this guy right here, but we would get hit by the battlecopter. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so we do take that. I think that's a good shot, not gonna lie. He's got so many units in the center right now that it's like super dangerous. I'm not really sure how we would go about attacking that right now, because we are in a very dangerous situation here too, mainly because we have like a win condition here pretty soon. So artillery right here, other artillery right here, simple block with the battlecopter right here, tanks block over here. Artillery would be able to 2-shot that, start capping next turn, especially with hyper upgrade in the bank. That is 100% a win condition coming up. Now, we do have the medium tank and the tanks here to be able to block that up, but I feel like if he brought these tanks down and pretty much like went full send to the HQ, it could definitely be possible. Alright, Ex Machina hits the medium tank. That was partially what I was hoping to happen here too. One of the reasons why I bought the medium tank was actually to lure out the Ex Machina. So that is one of the tricks that you can do. If you know that you're fighting a opponent like, let's say, Stern, Von Bolt, all those fellas, you know, you can buy large units and sort of set up areas so that the Ex Machina or the Meteor Strike can hit those areas. Same with Rachel too, but Rachel's a little bit harder to plan for because her co-power is a bunch of different conditions. Like it's most accumulated units, wealth, and infantry, I believe. So yeah, it's a little bit more different. This is good, but like I said, I think the only difference here is if we put the artillery right there, we would be able to double shot that. Like no problem. Especially with the amount of tanks that we have around too. Easy peasy. Alright, builds more battlecopters, more infantry. Got a commanding lead of 29 to 18 right now. Oof. Devastating. And I popped the hyper upgrade now. I'm gonna be honest with you. In hindsight, I kind of don't like this. But we'll see what I can do with it. Alright, taking out the battlecopter. Looks like I might be just trying to take out injured units. Protecting the medium tank from this medium tank. It looks like that's what's happening right there. Well, what else would I be able to do with this? Because he's going to have a hyper upgrade next turn too. Oh, and I forgot to move this guy back here, which is a terrible, terrible mistake. Yeah, that's a bad one. Oh, and he built a bomber too. So that's pretty good. He might be saving his hyper upgrade until he can actually cap the HQ. I think that might be the plan here with him. Alright, cool. So let's see here. Still at a huge deficit. Huge deficit. I would be able to attack the bomber though. Now because he didn't use hyper upgrade, I'm actually able to sit that guy on the HQ. So that's pretty cool. Oh, not the HQ, but the the port. So that's okay. Alright, popping black wave so that I can actually take out the bomber. So that's a huge hit. That's like 22,000 funds. Just gone right there. And the thing being, because if I didn't do that and the bomber survived, then it would just be healed up to full. Or not full, but it would be able to be healed up to like 6 or 7, I believe. 6 at the minimum. So that's definitely the reason why we do that. Alright, so yeah, he's got the hyper upgrade. And this is probably not going to be very good. Alright, let's see what happens here. No, my medium tank. It's so sad. It's terrible when you see a good medium tank go. Yeah, but then he just cleans up the area here, which is pretty good. Like, I'm a huge fan of this. Actually, moving these guys over here too. It blocks off these reinforcements right here, so it's pretty smart. And he's getting 2 caps on my southern properties right now. But I am about to get another hyper upgrade, so let's see what we can do here. So I pop the hyper upgrade after attacking. injure the infantry and get a big shot in on the artillery. And I got 2 medium tanks in position right now. He's got 1 neo tank up here, but my guys are moving it. The only problem is, like, I have a lot less units than him, so having to fight so much in one area just allows him to be able to move freely all over the map with his infantry and just start capping things, which is really, really annoying. Basically, once you get stuck in a position like this, unless you can actually get a win condition somewhere, it's kind of just a slow decline to your own defeat, more or less. So, yeah, I think that's what we are witnessing right now, is definitely a slow decline to the defeat. Unfortunately, and he builds another bomber too, which is perfect, because at this point too, you don't want to be wasting your time with like small units. You want to just build the big units that are going to be able to get the job done. Now, I do manage to secure the HQ, so that's not really going to be captured. Pop a black wave, injure a bunch more stuff. And let's see what we can manage to do. Not really too much at that point. We pop the black wave and resign. Perfect. Now, mostly at this point, like I was saying, it's just sort of a slow decline to your own defeat at this point. So there's not really too much point of drawing it on, especially when it comes to a tournament game. Now, if it's Global League, like, I don't really see too much of an issue with drawing a game on and, like, you know, seeing if there's a possibility to win at some point. But if it's tournament game and you know you're done, like, you know, at that point you might as well just call her quits. But yeah, TrickySticks, he basically just outplayed me for the majority of this game. Like, he had much better positioning, and I think Von Bolt was definitely a better pick for a CO. I think personally Andy was the go-to pick for your second character, because I think your second character was able to be a tier 3 or 4, and then your first pick was able to be up to tier 1, as you can see here. So yeah, Andy is definitely the side character. You know, he's just the healing that you can get is perfect. I think maybe if Tricky didn't pick Andy as his second CO, it could have went a little bit different, because my COs might have actually synergized better if he picked, like, I don't know, let's say like a Kindle or something like that, right? But he went Andy, so it was a good counter to me. But congratulations to TrickySticks on the win there. This was actually round 3 of the Shadows Chase You Endlessly tournament. And fun fact is Tricky actually went all the way to the finals of our bracket. And he did pretty well overall. He was not able to actually win the finals, but just making it all the way to the finals in a bracket is pretty impressive. So congratulations to him. And I think that he's probably going to have a really good run in Advance Wars. So if you happen to see him, say hi and tell him Semi sent you. So hopefully you all enjoyed that match. It was a blast playing in the tournament. Had a couple really good matches in it. So, you know, all is well. But that's going to be all for today. If you do have any replays that you want me to feature on the channel, you can feel free to send me a message on Advance Wars by Web. My name is Mr. Cannon, aka Semi-Original Guy, but on Advance Wars by Web, it's Mr. Cannon, as you see it on screen there. Go ahead and toss me a message with a link, and I will take a look at it, and we'll go from there. If not, you can always find me on Discord. I will put my Discord server below. You might be able to join my ragtag group of friendly folks, so it should be a good time. Alrighty, and that's probably about it. Join Advance Wars by Web today and drink lots of water. Take care, folks. Bye-bye for now.